Hello and welcome back to Lessons in Attachment. I am Carly Ann. I'm the founder of the Attachment Recovery Gym, and I'm just so passionate about helping you to become more secure and confident when it comes to the different issues faced by people that lean towards having an anxious attachment, that perhaps have experienced certain types of developmental trauma from your past experiences. And I'm here to help you as an adult to be able to have a better, kinder relationship with yourself and to be able to sustain relationships with other people. Guys, I'm excited by this episode. I definitely need some notes here in front of me because yeah, I feel like there's things that I want to share. This is from a study, so I need to be able to see those main points. We're going to dive into the experience of ghosting. But what's interesting about this episode is we're not just going to be talking about ghosting from the experience of the person that has been ghosted. Is that right? So the ghostee, we're also going to be talking about the experience of the person that has done the ghosting, so the ghoster. And throughout this episode, how I will refer to these two people is the ghoster and the ghostee. I don't really love that terminology. It's just, we need to be understanding who it is that I'm talking about. So hopefully you're not offended by that, or yeah, I don't know, maybe you'll just like it like me, or maybe you're indifferent. But the ghoster, the person that has ghosted, and the ghostee, the person that has been ghosted. So if you're wondering what they're thinking, what are they feeling, how could they do this? I'm hoping that this can just give us a bit more of an idea about that. Of course, we don't know for sure, but I think this study is just useful for getting us to consider the perspective of what might be going on. Because I think we're really quick to make assumptions about what people that ghost tend to be experiencing. So let's first at least just start by thinking about what is ghosting. You know that thing where someone just disappears, no explanation, no closure, just radio silence. Did you know it's actually one of the most common ways that relationships end, especially in this digital age? But what does it really feel like? Not just for the person being ghosted, but for the ghoster too. Well, a study from 2022 takes us into the minds and hearts of both the ghosters and the ghosties. It's giving us some insight into the emotional experience of ghosting. And let me tell you, it isn't just as simple as, oh, one person hurts the other. The reality is that ghosting is a form of avoidance and withdrawal. It's that silent exit. Yeah, you're leaving without having to explain yourself. And it's happening a lot. Studies actually suggest that 20 to 25% of adults have either ghosted someone or been ghosted themselves. How interesting is that? In online dating, ghosting happens in over a third of the interactions. That's huge. And yet, while we know that ghosting is happening, that's very clear. What we don't know so much is what are the emotions behind ghosting? What are people feeling behind ghosting? And the study that I'm looking at today, or that I'm sharing with you, it wanted to answer this question. How do ghosters and ghosties really feel? So Freedman and her colleagues in 2022 surveyed 80 participants, okay, who had both been ghosted and had done the ghosting in past romantic relationships. So they found that ghosters were more likely to express guilt and relief. But don't you think it's important? Because I think we always assume that the person doing the ghosting, they have all of the power. They're the ones making this decision, right? So they've definitely got that kind of control. But like I say, it's not, this study is showing that maybe they don't walk away with zero consequences. If you have been ghosted, there is no doubt that that feeling of abandonment and the confusion is super painful, especially if you have abandonment wounds. But again, the person doing the ghosting, according to this study, They tend to feel bad about the way they ended things, especially if they know that it hurt someone. And I don't know if that's helpful to hear. I guess we just think, yeah, but isn't that more reason to just have a conversation to give closure? Maybe the relief that they feel on, the flip side, they've managed to escape a situation that they didn't want to be in anymore. And they've avoided a difficult conversation. They've avoided, sometimes people think it hurts less by not having the conversation. If you've been ghosted, you'll know that actually it hurts a lot more. As time goes on, ghosters did report feeling less relief and more kind of indifference. Ghostees were more likely to express sadness and hurt. Let's think about what they felt as well. So the sadness and hurt, the uncertainty, the lack of closure can be emotionally devastating. Yeah. To not understand what actually happened and to have to make your own ideas up about that can be, yeah, just devastating. The threats to your self-esteem, being ghosted can make someone question their self-worth, question that they're good enough. So it goes deep. It's not just painful. It knocks your core and what you believe about yourself. And also loneliness and anger. So it's not just sadness. This study shows as well that often frustration at the lack of communication, at this happening, at this person, that can be something that comes up as well for the person that's been ghosted. What really I find interesting over time is that also ghostees report being less hurt and more apathy, meaning that while it hits hard initially, we do move on. Yeah, we do come out of it. If you find that you don't come out of it and you stay stuck in that cycle, maybe you want to really look at what's going on there because it's likely that they are old, painful wounds that have been re-triggered. If you're listening to this and you have been ghosted, I don't want this to come across like I'm taking sides or anything like that. It's just simply sharing what I think is some really interesting information with you. I know that if you've been ghosted, like part of the problem is feeling ostracized, it's feeling hurt, it's feeling ignored, it's feeling like you've been cut off, it's feeling like somebody doesn't care, and when we feel ignored, when we feel excluded, that really impacts us psychologically. Ghosties feel like they've been erased. But like I've said, and what this shows us is that even the ghosters, they have found, yes, they have more control, but they don't escape without any consequences in terms of how they feel. So I'm really curious about what you make of this. Let me know in the comments on YouTube, on Spotify. You can leave a comment or come over to my social media, carly.ann_, and leave me a message. What do you make of this? If you've been ghosted, please do know that your feelings are valid. It's not just about rejection, it's about the loss of control, the loss of closure. If you've ghosted someone, reflect on why you did it. Was it avoidance, fear, self-protection? If you're thinking about ghosting someone or you're in that moment now, consider the impact. It's not just romantic relationships that we ghost either. You might do it to friends, you might do it to your therapist, you might do it to your dentist. Even a simple message can offer closure and lessen kind of the guilt that you might feel. So listen, ghosting is a very modern relationship challenge, but understanding the emotions behind it, it might help us to navigate it. It might help us to move forward and to let go. So I hope that this is useful. I hope that it's interesting. If you've ever been ghosted or if you've ghosted someone, I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to hear your experience. Come and share your thoughts with me. And yeah, thank you for being here, and I will be back here soon.